Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Blues beat the Bruins 4-1. Who saw that coming? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. In any case, let's get on to some introductory notes before I get into the scoring in the first period. Now, by the commentators, this game was kind of labeled heavy hockey versus, speed. The heavy hockey referring to the Blues, the speed referring to the Bruins. Gretzky is in for this game. Clifton was out. Edmondson, was in for the Blues. Clifton was out. And interesting little fact here, there's only one player who played for the Bruins who's from Boston who's on the Stanley Cup. But on this Bruins team, there are 3 players who are from Boston. So, who had the opportunity to be on the Stanley Cup. I want to say Coyle, Gritslick, and I can't remember the third person at this moment in time. This is also, and I'm not even sure if this is true, but again, the color commentators mentioned this. It's the first time ever that a Stanley Cup game is played in Boston. Game 7? I'm not so sure about that. I guess it's true because the TV said so. The first period, let's get into it. Now, both fourth lines start the game, and the first 3 minutes, it's just all St. Louis in the offensive zone, really. But they can only get one shot, strangely enough, which is not too surprising if you know how the Blues play. But the next 4 minutes, it just flips. It's all Boston Bruins. And then 8 minutes in, the shots are like 3-1 for Boston, but they've slowly taken over this game. And then they get a power play. And this is the only penalty of the entire game. Parenko gets it for puck over the glass at around 12:03. And the Blues kill this one. And this is kind of the story. It's kind of like the only team who's managed to be able to kill off this absolutely lethal Bruin power play, which has wreaked havoc on all playoff teams and regular season teams, and they've been able to figure this out. This was probably one of the major keys to winning the Cup, really, even though there was only one penalty in this game. Now, Binnington is just amazing so far. He's just, and this is a common thread throughout the entire game. St. Louis is barely making any passes, really, especially in the offensive zone in this first period, like halfway through it. And the Bruins are just clogging the neutral zone, really. And then at 16:47, St. Louis goes ahead 1-0. Magically, and this is a goal that goes through the legs of Rask on a Bouwmeester shot for the point that gets tipped by O'Reilly. Rask has no chance. And that ends up being like the Blues was at first or second shot in over 16 minutes during the first. Unbelievable. And of course, that goal was O'Reilly's 8th of the playoffs, assisted by Bouwmeester and Pietrangelo. And that's O'Reilly's 5 goals now in 4 games during the playoffs. And he ties the record with the only player ever to do that was Wayne Gretzky. So, moving on, still in the first, Boston just continues to dominate after this goal, and then St. Louis scores another one. You're like, what? This is upside down world, and this is with 8 seconds left in the game. One could argue this was a major turning point here, or even the St. Louis penalty kill. But Pietrangelo gets his 3rd of the playoffs, assisted by Jaden Schwartz. Jaden Schwartz just finds. He's kind of in the corner, and he finds Pietrangelo coming in through the slot, feeds him the puck, and he just goes backhand forward and in. This might be the most debatable goal that Rask lets in, but still, it was a beauty. You can't really get too hard on the guy for that one either. Now, the shots in this period are 12-4 for the Bruins. Just amazing. Now, we go in the first intermission. Don Cherry comes on because I'm watching Sportsnet, and him and Ron McLean talk about how the Bruins' nightmare is coming true. They've run into a hot goalie in Game 7. And they also mention how the Blues' defense are pinching to keep pucks in. How Brad Marchand just made a really bad change that led to that second goal. he was covering up for a defenseman, and when the rush was going back into his zone, he decides to change. I don't know what happened there. He's a great player, but that was just big mistake. Now, they also mentioned how great O'Reilly's been playing in both zones. They talk about how Coach Craig Berube of the St. Louis Blues, how he told Schenn not to worry about taking bad penalties, just to go out and play his game. And this is in direct, in response to, Schenn got that penalty in the last game where he hit Nordstrom from behind in the numbers, got 2 minutes. Luckily for him, he didn't get suspended. So I guess they were kind of alluding to the fact that Berube just wanted to make sure his players were calm, relaxed, and focused when they went in. Now, another little note here: Berube, the Blues coach, has, during his playing career, played twice for 4 different teams, and that just goes to show you the kind of character that he brought with him. And it's no surprise that he's a coach. Second period. Now, in the first 5 minutes, it's just mostly Boston. They just completely dominated the game. I can't even believe it's 2-0 right now. It feels like it should be the opposite, really. Not that the Blues are playing bad, but that the Bruins are getting most of the opportunities. But St. Louis did get the odd chance here. Now, 10 minutes in, the shots are 3-2 for Boston. But again, St. Louis is still getting a little bit more opportunities at this point. Then at 6:26 of the game, I noticed that the Boston is just turning over pucks way, way too often. And St. Louis, that's because they're just playing a solid road game. Kind of lost my train of thought there. Now, 37 minutes into the game. 37 minutes? 7 minutes, into the game. Where did I get into the game? St. Louis has 9 shots and are leading the game 2-0. Let that sink in. Yeah. Now, both teams finished the last 5 minutes with chances in each other's offensive zone, and the shots in the second are 11-6 for Boston. That's just freaky. Now, during the second intermission, the whole panel there, Sportsnet panel, they start to talk about who they think their Conn Smythe Trophy winner might be. If it were a Blues player, Friedman goes with O'Reilly, and he's right. He wins the Conn Smythe. Spoiler alert. And then Kelly Rudy talks about how Pietrangelo might get it because of his play both ways. Kiprios mentions Peryanko, who's had a terrific series, terrific playoffs. And they also mention how Berube just really has the team playing positionally sound, defensively. They always seem to have 3 guys back, or even 4, plugging up that neutral zone, ready for anything coming back the other way. Yeah, of course, they also said that Conn Smythe might still go to Rask, and they talked about how Pasternak was having a tough game, as was the whole first line. Sort of like they've been having in the first 5 games in the series, and yeah, it makes you wonder a little bit, and I'll get to more of that in a second. Now, I'm just sweating just talking about this game. Now, into the third period. Now, leading after the second period, St. Louis is 9-1 in the 2019 playoffs. As we get into the game here, St. Louis is just making Boston turn over the puck in the neutral zone over and over again. And this is with 6 minutes in, and they're just doing it with lots of back pressure. Part of that's because the Bruins D are finally starting to pinch at this point because they're down by 2 goals. The ice was also terrible in Boston, which it has been for most of the playoffs, and it just makes it really hard if you're down a number of goals trying to catch up because the puck just wouldn't settle. It just kept flipping and flopping all over the place. Now, around 10 minutes in, the shot attempts were 52-27 for the Bruins, and Binnington, again, is just unbelievable. Now, St. Louis is also getting a lot of the lanes, the passing lanes for the Bruins, which is good because they do a lot of east-west passes, and they're blocking a lot of shots. And then at 11:25, St. Louis goes ahead 3-0. This is in a transition kind of goal. Braden Shen scores his 5th of the playoffs, assisted by Tarasenko and Schwartz. Now, Tarasenko just kind of like looks behind him as he's heading towards the corner in the offensive zone, sees Shen, feeds him right in the slot, and he puts it low, far side, past Rask. It's kind of hard. It happened so fast to blame that one on him also. And this is the point where I start to think, I don't remember seeing the first line. I don't remember thinking of the first line or hearing their names called or anything. And are they playing hurt? Because they're just not noticeable so far. And then with about 6 minutes left, the Bruins, interestingly enough, had 4 forwards on the ice. Now, they hadn't pulled any goalies yet. But yeah. And then at 15:22, St. Louis goes up 4-0. Wow. Yeah, Perron. Now, this is one the Bruins players should be a bit ashamed of, because Perron, one guy, one blue, outworks 2 Bruins in the corner, and he outworks them, comes out with a puck, finds Sanford in the slot, all alone. Rask has no chance. He's on the far end, puts it into an open net. Yeah. Little note here, I wrote down Binnington following a loss is 7-2. 1 point with 1.86 goals against average in the 2019 playoffs. He just continues to be amazing in this game. Now, the Bruins pull Rask with around 4 minutes left, and it works. Boston breaks the shutout. The score is 4-1. That's a goal by Matt Gritslick, his 4th of the playoffs, assisted by Krejci. And this is a hard shot, which is sort of on a partial screen, but it's a perfect one, because it goes off the crossbar and in. And yeah, just a gorgeous shot. I don't think Binnington could have done, or anyone, Rask either, could have done anything about a shot like that. Now, the Bruins pull Rask again after that goal, and nothing happens. Nada. And after 52 years, St. Louis has won a Stanley Cup. The shots in that third period were 10 apiece. Unbelievable. Let's quickly look at some of the team stats for the game. Let's start first with the goaltending, though. Tuukka Rask, who got the loss in this one, saved 16 of 20 with a .800 save percentage. I don't think those goals, I'm not sure he could have done much about any of those. Binnington saves 32 of 33 with a .970 save percentage. Unbelievable. I think that's the first rookie since Murray of the Penguins to win the Cup. Now on to the team stats. The hits in this game were 36-28 for the Blues. So the losing team doesn't always out-hit the winning team, although the Blues were leading this early. So they just kind of sat back and played a good road game, and yeah. Now, the faceoffs were quite even. Were 26-25 for the Bruins. Really close. Of course, the penalty minutes, the Blues got the only penalty of the game. That was by Paryenko for the puck over glass. The giveaways were 13 for the Bruins, 7 for the Blues. That was a problem, especially in the second and third period for Boston. Takeaways were 8-6 for the Blues. Yep. Block shots were 21-7. I think this is one of the rare games against the Bruins where the Blues actually beat them in the block shot category. And, of course, the power play, the Blues don't get one. The Bruins are 0 for 1. And there you have it. Now, the Boston fans, and there were some Blues fans there too, but they responded with a lot of respect for both teams, with applause after the game. Of course, the cup went first to Pietrangelo, and the cup was handed, the fourth person that the cup was handed to was Chris Thorburn. And I'm like, who's Chris Thorburn? And I didn't look him up or anything. So, yeah, let me know in the comment section who Chris Thorburn is. And there was something I wanted to read, especially a tweet that I saw during the game, which kind of summed it all up, really. This was tweeted by Hockey Central, and it's titled Blues Strategy. And it says, wait so long in between shots on goal that Rask forgets how to play hockey and then pouts. Brilliant. I don't know. Anyways, I just thought that was hilarious. I didn't necessarily reflect, how Rask was playing. He did have a good game. Yeah. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions about this, who you thought was going to win going into the game. I know I thought the Bruins were going to win this, I got to admit. And this isn't the last video I'll be putting out for sure. I'll be putting out videos all through the summer. I will not be going away. And yeah, there you have it. Hit like if you like this video. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. And hey, if you happen to have any Hockey Geek friends, please don't feel shy about sharing. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.